So now let's talk deeper about the markets around Africa. And always starting from the home front, Nigerian Stock Exchange All Share Index still within the 105,000 points, which it lost since on Friday, and no reprieve at the moment. It's just a brief. The NSC All Share, the NGX All Share Index is just struggling for a rebound after closing. No thanks to the impact of profit taking, which has brought the market's year-to-date performance down to about 2.79%, and month-to-date in the negative 1.9%. 34 losers and 18 gainers just yesterday. But at the moment, we don't know how that is affecting the market. But we'll have our analysts to talk more about that just as the analysis progresses. For the Johannesburg Stock Exchange All Share Index, 1.10% increase at intraday, and almost closing in on the 90,000 index level for that South Africa's stock market, 89,494.94. The fours have it right there for that number in numerology. Let's talk about the other markets within the African continent, EGX 30 and the Nairobi Stock Exchange. So it's mostly a green day intraday for 3 markets out of 4 that we track, and then a positive close for Monday for the Nairobi Stock Exchange All Share Index, 0.63% in the green. So that's a snapshot for the markets, intraday market numbers on the African continent. Now let's talk more about Nigeria's stock market. So far, the month of March is just marching into the negative territory, which I just mentioned, about 1.9% month to date. Not too good. But let's talk deeper about the market. And we have Abiodun Adedotun, equity trader with FBN Securities Brokers, which is formerly FBN Quest, to tell us more about this market and other issues within the market. Thank you for joining us, Abiodun.
Thank you very much, Victor. It's good to be here.
Okay, so now you are the trader there. Now, can you tell us why have we seen so much of a downturn in the market so far in the month, almost 2% down? What are the attributes to this downturn on the markets?
Okay, yeah, the downturn we've seen in the market is basically risk off. We've seen a bit of sell-offs by international investors. Given what's been happening in the global landscape, what's happening in the US, what's happening in US market and other global markets, it's partly affecting what's happening in Nigeria. Of course, we've also seen a bit of profit taking by locals. In 2024, we had a bit of recapitalization from the bank, and these shares are being listed now. So investors taking profits made from that period till date. So pretty much that's what we've seen.
Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about the sector. Yes, most of the sectors have been in the profit-taking territory, downward territory. But interestingly, the insurance sector of the NGX has been on the upswing. So tell us what's driving this optimism or the sentiment in that sector?
Of course, investors are excited about the prospects of recapitalization that's going to happen in the insurance sector, right? Of course, Nikon has given a bit of guidance on what would happen in that space, and its opportunity for capital to come into that area. So one thing you would also note is that the insurance companies that have been pretty much undervalued for a very long time. So it's about time for them to get somewhere close to where their revaluation should be.
Okay, so now we're talking about a revaluation. We're also talking about a portfolio rebalancing, and all that will happen or have an effect on the intraday market numbers. Now, tell us how the market is moving at intraday from the last track that we had, which was positive.
I think I missed that bit. Please, can you come back?
Okay.
Sorry.
I said the market is all about portfolio rebalancing and so many other factors. Now, can you tell us how the market is moving at intraday?
Okay, intraday. The market is very, very quiet intraday today. Investors are still on the sidelines. Most of us are still waiting for the audited numbers of some of these listed companies, especially the banks. So not so much is happening. Everybody is just trying to sit on the sidelines and looking at how things progress before pulling the trigger.
Okay, so a final one, just in 20 seconds. What is your expectation for the market's close for the close of Tuesday's trading session?
I expect the market to close about flat.
Flattish close. Okay, so we'll keep our eyes out on that, and we just hope that this market will be able to make a rebound as we count down to the end of March. Thank you so much, Abiodu Adedotun, equity trader with First Securities Brokers, giving us details about the Nigerian stock market intraday market numbers. Okay, from Africa to the Middle East, that's where our flight takes us to, and we see that major indexes there, they are mostly, it's kind of like a mixed picture there. Is coming in the midst of uncertainties within the Middle East. Oil prices are down, and this is coming as amidst the ceasefire talks, which has offset the instability in the Middle East. And there's also fears that that could also have an effect on the demand of oil. It's also coming at the same time where the global growth concerns and the U.S. tariff, as well as U.S. Russia Ukraine ceasefire talks, which is happening at the moment as we speak. So that concern is also having its toll within the oil market, as well as the Middle East stability, Middle East concerns. So that's why we see a mixed picture there for the Dubai and the Abu Dhabi, both on the United Arab Emirates. But let's take a look at how the Saudi Arabia is in the red at intraday 0.47%. That's for the Tadawul 11,827.19. And for the Qatari Stock Exchange, yesterday at intraday, we saw that market in the red, but intraday today is kind of like a smiley color there, 0.34% in the green at intraday, 10,438.84 for that market. Now, from Middle East, we fly over to the United States, where we see the markets there, stock futures are edging lower, and this is because investors are actually focusing their attention on the U.S. Fed's meeting, which kicks off today. That's the second meeting under U.S. President Donald Trump, where there's a 99% likelihood, according to economists' projection, that the U.S. Fed, the world's biggest economy, the world's #1 central bank, would keep the interest rate unchanged. So markets are keeping eyes out on that. But at the same time, the market is also monitoring economic data, which is expected to be released before the policy announcement, which will be made on Wednesday. But for Tuesday, the market is actually expecting from the U.S. They report economic data on imports, housing, building, and production, which will be due out from the world's biggest economy Tuesday morning. So that's just about some 7 hours behind us here in Nigeria. So at the moment, there's no earnings report, but so far, this is how the market is coming in futures. But on Monday, the markets were in the red, trying to make a rebound for what it saw last week. So that's it for the markets on the US front. Now, finally, for the markets in Asia, you can see the greens have it there. The greens have it because it was led by Hong Kong's the tech stocks there. They made the market to be in the rally. So Hang Seng Index was a major gainer there, 2.46%. And we have some stocks, stocks such as Beidou, Alibaba Group, as well as Tencent, and some other stocks which are from China but listed on the Hang Seng, which is Hong Kong's financial market. So that's why all the markets here were in the green. And at the same time, talk about the Nikkei. We hear that the Bank of Japan, which is Japan's central bank, is also holding its own central bank policy meeting, which is coinciding with the U.S. policy meeting, monetary policy meeting. They're also expected to keep their rates unchanged at about 0.5% when the meeting concludes on Wednesday. So it's about a 2-day policy meeting for both US and Japan. And then also this week, we also expect that there will be a central bank meeting from the Bank of England, as well as some Scandinavian banks, the Bank of Sweden, as well as some other banks. So it's more like a central bank meeting week for major economies around the world, or some of the major economies around the world. So this is just for the 3 out of the 5 markets that we cover on the Asian continent. So green colors here. Now let's take a look at how Shanghai and the Nifty 50. Nifty 50, it added about 1.20% to its earlier close, and then closing Tuesday's trading session up 1.5%. 0.45%, 22,834.30. And then for the Shanghai is up by 0.11%, 3,429.76 for the close of Tuesday's trading session. So the greens have it for a second day for markets across the Asian continent. And of course, we continue to keep our eyes out on how the Trump's trade tariff takes effect on most of the global economies. Now it's turned to a global trade war, not just a trade war between the US, Shanghai, China, and Canada and Mexico. It's now turning into more like a global trade war. So we keep our eyes out on how that will shape other markets, including some markets within the African continent, which are heavily dependent on imports. So that's a close for the markets for Tuesday in Asia and for intraday market numbers.